Very good morning, students. Myself, L.K. Tripathi from LPM Public School. Dear students, as we have been discussing about history, chapter 10, this is your second video of the chapter. Previously, we have seen about different types of literary work performed by the different writers, novelists, and other intellectual bodies who perform their best in the field of literature. So before discussing this new video, that is music, a short glimpse should go back. The other important newspapers of the period, what we have studied previously, were Amrit Bazar Patrika, Kesari, The Hindu, The Tribune, The Mail and others. The British on their part tried to censor Indian press and pass many acts to the effect. This kind of things were done by the writers and the editors of newspapers. The new video is there that is related to the music. What type of music flourished during this period? Initially, music and dance were confined to homes and temples. It was during the 20th century that music and dance became part of the public arena. Girls were not initiated into learning music, and these arts forms were looked down upon in society. So this type of music and dance these were confined to homes and temples. ये खास करके घर के अंदर और मंदिरों में ये परफॉर्म किया जाता था. Different types of dance style is there which we can see dancing in the temples inside the homes like Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam and Kathak. All these types of dance are performed basically in the temples. इसको हम टेम्पल डांस ही कहते हैं. Girls were not initiated into learning music, and these arts forms were looked down upon in society. However, over a period of time, these art forms became acceptable and an ordinary people's culture came into being. Vishnu Digam Palushkar, Gangubai Hangal, Kumar Gandharva, Pandit Vishnu Narayan Bharatkhande were the famous musicians of the era who contributed to the growth of Hindustani music in North India. Undoubtedly, Vishnu Digam Palushkar, Gangubai Hangal, Kumar Gandharv, पंडित विष्णु नारायण भारतखंडे ये बहुत सारे फेमस म्यूजिशियंस रहे इस पीरियड के जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तानी म्यूजिक में जो नॉर्थ इंडिया का स्टाइल था अपना बहुत सारा कंट्रीब्यूशन इन्होंने दिया. In the southern part of the country, Carnatic music with its emphasis on vocals was encouraged by the Maratha rulers of the Tanjore kingdom of Tamil Nadu and the Vedic rulers of Mysore kingdom of Karnataka. During the 9-day Dashahara festival, elaborate music recitals took place in the Mysore palace. Purandara Das is known as the father of Carnatic music. Due to his immense contribution, and formulation of the basic lessons of the music style. The contemporaries Tyagaraja, Muthuswami, Dikshitar and Shyama Sastri are regarded as the trinity of Carnatic music. Western music also acquired popular in India. During the time, musical instruments like violin came to be used in many parts of the country. Violin is a kind of instrument, musical instrument, which is very popular in south part of India. This instrument was also used by the musician. During this period, films and film music were also introduced in the country, which found an enthusiastic audience amongst the young men and women. Recorded music also came into prominence at this time. India's first gramophone company, HMB or His Master's Voice, was established in Calcutta in 1901. Dance. Around this time, Indian dance in all its varied forms also entered the public arena in India and became accessible to ordinary men and women. Rabindranath Tagore's dance dramas or Ravindra Nitya Natya, Chitragada, Chandalika and Shama were his significant contributions to the development of an indigenous dance form. He invited experts of various classical dance forms to study and perform at the Vishwabharati University. Another famous personality and pioneer in the field of dance in India was Uday Shankar. Immensely influenced by the European dance and theatrical forms, he synthesized and adapted them with Indian classical dance. The Thanjore Maratha kings patronized dance in South India. The four brothers, popularly known as the Thanjore Quartet, Chinnaya, Ponnaya, Shivanandam, and Vedivelu were expert choreographers and dance teachers. They were instrumental in developing new techniques. And style of dance. The Devdasi dance or dance of temple Devdasi was popular in the temple of South India. Devdasi dance is a kind of dance which is very much popular in the southern part of the country, that is mostly performed in the temples. Sculpture. What type of sculpture flourished in this period? Traditional Indian sculpture during this period saw Western influence. European sculptures were brought to India in order to cater to the needs of the foreigners staying in the country. Thereafter, these sculptures gained the fancy of Indians who began to imitate the lifestyle of the colonial rulers. Many sculptors also went abroad to learn the art of making sculptures. The newly produced sculptures represented a synthesis of Indian and European style and featured secular themes. थिएटर थिएटर को हम देखते हैं। थिएटर का रियल मीनिंग क्या रहा? The earliest form of the theatre of India was the Sanskrit theatre. Modern Indian theatre developed during the period of colonial rule under the British Empire. From the mid-19th century until the mid-20th, in order to resist its use by Indians as an instrumental of protest against colonial rule, the British government imposed the Dramatic Performances Act in 1876. However, theatres in India continued to grow in numbers. Dramas were written both in English and the regional language. Dance dramas were a popular form of theatre, especially in South India. So in this way, we have seen different types of musical style which flourished in India those days. Now, sources of information, just we have to know about that. Literary sources, that is biographies of noted painters and artists of the period under study. Critical observations and commentaries of art historians on the work of artists. Non-literary paintings of artists belonging to different schools of this period. Monuments and buildings reflecting colonial style of architecture. Old photographs, all these are literary and non-literary sources available to know about this period. Now some important facts are there. Let's discuss about that also. During the later medieval period, Persian and Arabic influence dominated Indian arts. This influence was seen in paintings, sculpture, buildings, etc. Later medieval period के बाद पर्शियन और अरबियक इन्फ्लुएंस इंडियन आर्ट को डोमिनेट किया और दिस टाइप ऑफ scene and things we can see through the paintings, sculptures, building which were made those days. With the coming of the Europeans to India and the establishment of colonial rule, several new art forms, styles, materials and new techniques were introduced. The British brought their own Gothic and Roman influences to India. Indian artists adapted these changes creatively for local patrons and markets in both the elite and popular circles. The impact of these ideas was soon felt and reflected in all spheres of Indian art. The European artists introduced easel painting and oil painting to India and brought with them the idea of realism. In the 19th century, as the Indian national movement was gaining monumentum, stronger connection was established between art and nationalism. Thus, a few Indian artists and art schools developed a style that could be considered both modern and national. The colonization of India by the Europeans had an impact on the architecture too, as it did on other aspects of Indian art. So, up to here, we have discussed about whole of the chapter, the sculptures, art, music, theatre, photography, literature, such types of things we have come to know. Now, one more thing is there that is being defined from myself. जैसा कि फोर्ट सेंट जॉर्ज जो फर्स्ट ब्रिटिश फोर्ट इंडिया में बनाया गया 1639 में, और इस फोर्ट के चारों तरफ मतलब फ्रॉम ऑल साइड्स एक मद्रास सिटी को जो है डेवलप किया गया। इस फोर्ट के चारों तरफ जो मद्रास का शहर है उसको बिल्ड किया गया। आज हम देखते हैं सेंट जॉर्ज हाउस जो तमिलनाडु लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली आजकल है और सेक्रेटरीट भी है, इसको यहाँ पर ये यहाँ पर स्थित है, और ये भारत का सबसे बड़ा फ्लैग स्टाफ है जिसकी हाइट 150 फीट है ज़मीन से। और दूसरा कलकत्ता जो जहाँ पर फोर्ट विलियम कॉलेज की स्थापना की गई, वहाँ पर ये फर्स्ट प्रिंटिंग प्रेस को एक्वायर करता है। ये यहाँ पर स्थापित हुआ था 1778 में, और यहाँ पर सबसे पहले बुक जो है प्रिंट की गई थी वो 12 व्यूज़ थी, जिसको विलियम डैनियल ने इसको पब्लिश किया था। इस तरह से हमने देखा इस चैप्टर के बारे में बहुत सारे इंफॉर्मेशन लिटरेरी सोर्सेज से पेंटिंग के थ्रू और फोटोग्राफी के थ्रू हमने यहाँ पर पाया। बाकी डिस्कशन हम लोग दूसरे वीडियो में करेंगे जो नए चैप्टर से होगा। ये चैप्टर यहीं ख़त्म होता है। नाउ लेट्स मूव फॉर अदर वर्क। टिल देन गुड बाय, थैंक यू।